Welcome back. Thanks for tuning to our Reddit cheating stories. Which country are you watching from? Comment, subscribe, thanks. Let's dive in. My name is Arthur, and I'm not a man known for holding grudges. Or at least, I wasn't. I believed in forgiveness, in understanding, in letting things go. But my daughter, Emily, she broke something inside me. Something fundamental. She shattered the image I had of her, and in doing so, she forged a new version of me. One capable of, well, let's just say I learned that revenge, served cold, can be quite a dish. Emily was always bright, articulate, driven. From the time she could hold a crayon, she was drawing, writing, creating. She devoured books like air, excelled in school, and always had a burning ambition to do something important. I admired that about her. Her mother, Sarah, who passed away when Emily was 10, would have been so proud. Everything I did, every sacrifice I made, was for Emily. I wanted her to have the opportunity Sarah never had. When Emily got accepted into Crestwood University, one of the most prestigious and expensive art schools in the country, I almost burst with pride. It was a dream come true for her. And while the tuition was astronomical, $40,000 a year for 3 years, totaling $120,000, I knew I had to make it happen. I'd been saving for years, pinching pennies, working overtime. I saw it as an investment, not just in her future, but in the potential she held. The first year was wonderful. Emily thrived. Her artwork was stunning, her professors raved about her talent, and she called me often, filled with excitement about her classes and her new friends. I visited her campus whenever I could, attending her student exhibitions, taking her out for dinners. Everything felt right. The second year was a little different. The phone calls became less frequent. The excitement waned. She started talking about how Crestwood was stifling her creativity, how the professors were out of touch, how the other students were shallow and pretentious. I tried to be supportive, reminding her of her goals, encouraging her to persevere. I figured it was just sophomore slump. Then came the third year. That's when everything went to hell. One evening, I received a call from Emily. Her voice was cold, detached. "Dad," she said, "I need to talk to you about something important." I braced myself. Important usually meant expensive. "I've decided I'm changing my major," she announced. "Okay," I said, trying to keep my tone neutral. "To what?" "Business administration." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. Business administration. After all those years of nurturing her artistic talent, after all the money I'd poured into her art education, she wanted to switch to business. "Emily," I said, my voice strained, "are you sure about this? You've always been so passionate about art. What happened?" "Art is impractical, Dad," she said, her voice flat. "I need to think about my future, about making a living. Business is where the money is." I felt a wave of anger wash over me. So, all this time, all the money, all the sacrifices, it was just impractical. "Don't be dramatic, Dad," she retorted. "I'll still use my creativity in business. It's all about innovation and marketing now." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This wasn't my daughter. This was some automaton, spouting corporate jargon. "And what about the money, Emily?" I asked, my voice shaking. "What about the $120,000 I've already spent on your art degree? Are you just going to throw that away?" "Well, I'll still have a degree from Crestwood," she said, as if that was supposed to make everything okay. "It'll open doors." "Doors to what, Emily?" I demanded. "A world you suddenly decided you want to be a part of, after I've bankrolled your artistic dreams for years. Did you even consider talking to me about this before making this decision?" A long silence followed. Then, she said the words that would haunt me for years to come. "You don't understand, Dad. You never have. You're just old-fashioned. If you can't support my decision, then you're dead to me." The line went dead. I sat there, staring at the phone, numb. Dead to her. After everything I'd done, after everything I'd given up, I was dead to my own daughter. For weeks, I spiraled. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the conversation in my head, trying to understand what I had done wrong. Had I pushed her too hard? Had I not been supportive enough? Had I somehow failed her as a father? My friends tried to console me, telling me that she was young, that she'd come around, that I should give her time. But I couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal, of utter devastation. I had sacrificed everything for her, and she had thrown it all back in my face. Then, one day, something shifted. The grief and despair began to curdle into something else. Something cold. Something hard. I realized that Emily had not only rejected me, she had rejected everything I stood for. She had embraced a world of superficiality and materialism, a world where money was the only measure of success. And she had done it at my expense. That's when the idea began to form. It started as a tiny seed of resentment, but it quickly grew into a full-blown obsession. I would show her. I would show her that money wasn't everything. I would show her that there were things in life that were more important than success and status. And I would do it in a way that she would never forget. I decided to play the long game. I knew that if I confronted her directly, she would just shut me out again. I needed to find a way to get under her skin, to expose the hollowness of her new life. My plan was simple, yet elaborate. I would wait. I would observe. I would learn. And then, when the time was right, I would strike. The first thing I did was hire a private investigator. I needed to know everything about Emily's life at Crestwood. Her friends, her professors, her activities, her grades, everything. The investigator, a sharp woman named Ms. Davis, provided me with regular updates. I learned that Emily was indeed thriving in her business program. She was networking, interning at prestigious companies, and making all the right connections. She was well on her way to becoming the corporate success she so desperately craved. I also learned that she was dating a young man named Chad. Chad was the son of a wealthy businessman, a typical preppy type with a trust fund and a sense of entitlement. He seemed to be everything that Emily now admired. Over the next 3 years, I meticulously gathered information. I learned about the company where Emily hoped to work after graduation, a high-powered marketing firm known for its ruthless tactics and its obsession with profit. I learned about Chad's family business, a real estate development company with a reputation for cutting corners and exploiting loopholes. I also spent a lot of time researching the art world. I wanted to understand what Emily had abandoned, what she had deemed impractical. I visited museums, attended art galleries, and read books on art history and theory. I even took a few art classes myself, trying to understand the creative process. The more I learned, the more I realized what a profound loss Emily had suffered. She had traded the beauty and passion of art for the cold, calculating world of business. She had sacrificed her soul for the sake of success. As the years passed, I transformed. I started working out, eating healthier, and dressing better. I wanted to present myself as a successful, confident man, the kind of man that Emily would be forced to respect. I even started investing in the stock market, using the money I had saved for her education. And surprisingly, I was good at it. I learned to analyze market trends, to identify undervalued companies, and to make smart, calculated investments. My portfolio grew steadily, and I soon found myself wealthier than I had ever imagined. All this time, I never contacted Emily. I resisted the urge to reach out, to plead with her, to try to reconcile. I knew that any attempt to communicate would be futile. She had made her choice, and I had to respect it. But I also knew that I would have my day. Finally, the time came. Emily was about to graduate from Crestwood, and she had already accepted a job at her dream company, the high-powered marketing firm. Chad was also graduating, and his father had promised him a management position in the family business. They were on top of the world, ready to conquer the corporate ladder. I decided to attend Emily's graduation ceremony. I knew it would be painful, but I needed to see her, to witness her triumph, to solidify my resolve. I sat in the audience, watching as Emily walked across the stage to receive her diploma. She looked beautiful, confident, and utterly unrecognizable. She had transformed from the bright-eyed, passionate artist I had once known into a polished, ambitious businesswoman. After the ceremony, I waited for her outside the auditorium. I watched as she greeted her friends and family, laughing and celebrating. Chad was by her side, his arm possessively around her waist. Then, she saw me. Her face froze. Her eyes widened in disbelief. "Dad," she whispered, her voice barely audible. I walked towards her, my face expressionless. "Hello, Emily," I said, my voice calm and controlled. She stared at me, speechless. Chad looked from her to me, his brow furrowed in confusion. "Who is this, Emily?" he asked. "This is my father," she said, her voice hesitant. Chad extended his hand to me, a condescending smile on his face. "Nice to meet you, sir." "I'm Chad, Emily's," he paused, looking at Emily for confirmation, fiancé. I ignored his hand. I looked directly at Emily, my eyes piercing. "I have something to give you, Emily," I said, reaching into my pocket. I pulled out 2 envelopes. One was fat, the other thin. "This one," I said, handing her the thin envelope, "is a letter. You can read it later." I then handed her the fat envelope. "And this one, this is a check. For $120,000. Emily's eyes widened. What is this?" "It's a refund, Emily," I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "A refund for your education. I figured you could use it. After all, you're going to need a lot of money to climb that corporate ladder." She took the envelope, her hand trembling. She opened it and stared at the check, her face a mask of confusion. "I don't understand," she said. "Oh, I think you do," I said, my voice low and menacing. "You said I was dead to you, Emily. Well, you were right. The man who paid for your art degree, the man who believed in your talent, he's gone. He died the day you told me you were switching to business. And in his place is someone else. Someone who understands the value of money, the importance of success, and the power of revenge." I paused, letting my words sink in. "Enjoy your success, Emily," I said, turning to walk away. "But remember, everything comes at a price. And you've already paid yours." I walked away, leaving Emily standing there, stunned and speechless. Chad stared after me, his face a mixture of confusion and concern. I didn't look back. I knew that I had made my point. I had shown Emily that money wasn't everything, that there were things in life that were more important than success. And I had done it in a way that she would never forget. But that wasn't the end of the story. Oh no. That was just the opening act. The letter I gave Emily explained everything. It detailed my research into her chosen company, the shady practices they employed, the ruthless executives who ran the place. It also included copies of documents I had obtained, proving that Chad's family business was involved in illegal real estate deals, exploiting vulnerable communities and lining their own pockets. I didn't send those documents to the authorities. Not yet. I wanted Emily to see them first. I wanted her to have a choice. She could either ignore them, bury her head in the sand, and continue down the path she had chosen. Or she could do something about it. She could expose the corruption, fight for justice, and reclaim her soul. I knew it was a long shot. Emily had become so entrenched in her new world that I doubted she would ever turn back. But I had to give her the opportunity. I had to give her a chance to redeem herself. Weeks turned into months. I heard nothing from Emily. I assumed that she had chosen to ignore the letter, that she had decided to prioritize her career over her conscience. I was disappointed, but not surprised. Then, one day, I received a phone call. It was from Ms. Davis, the private investigator. "Arthur," she said, her voice urgent, "you need to turn on the news. Now." I switched on the television and tuned to the local news channel. The headline blazed across the screen, "Marketing firm under investigation for fraud and deception." The report detailed how the marketing firm where Emily worked was being investigated for allegedly defrauding clients, manipulating data, and engaging in unethical advertising practices. The investigation was based on information leaked to the press by an anonymous source. As I watched the report, I saw Emily's face flash across the screen. She was being interviewed by a reporter, her expression serious and determined. "I couldn't stand by and watch it happen anymore," she said, her voice clear and unwavering. "I knew that what they were doing was wrong, and I had to do something about it." The report went on to say that Emily had provided investigators with crucial evidence that had led to the investigation. She had risked her career, her reputation, and her future to expose the truth. I felt a surge of pride and relief wash over me. Emily had done it. She had chosen the right path. She had reclaimed her soul. But there was more. The next day, another headline appeared: real estate development company accused of illegal practices. This report detailed how Chad's family business was being investigated for allegedly exploiting vulnerable communities, engaging in illegal real estate deals, and bribing government officials. The investigation was also based on information leaked to the press by an anonymous source. I knew, without a doubt, that Emily was behind this as well. She had not only exposed the corruption at her own company, but she had also taken down her fiancé's family business. She had burned all her bridges, sacrificing everything for the sake of justice. This time, I didn't wait for Emily to contact me. I called her. She answered the phone, her voice hesitant. "Dad," she said. "Emily," I said, my voice filled with emotion. "I'm so proud of you." A long silence followed. Then, Emily began to cry. "I'm so sorry, Dad," she sobbed. "I was so wrong. I let money and ambition blind me. I lost sight of what was important." "It's okay, Emily," I said. "You found your way back. That's all that matters." "I know I hurt you terribly," she said. "Can you ever forgive me?" "There's nothing to forgive, Emily," I said. "You've already paid the price." We talked for hours that night, reconnecting, rebuilding our relationship. I learned that Emily had quit her job at the marketing firm and was planning to start her own nonprofit organization, dedicated to promoting ethical business practices and supporting the arts. She had found her purpose, her passion, and her soul. As for Chad, he was facing serious legal charges, and his family business was in ruins. He had lost everything. Some might say that my revenge was complete. I had exposed the corruption, brought down the villains, and reclaimed my daughter. But that's not how I see it. My revenge wasn't about punishing Emily. It was about saving her. It was about giving her the opportunity to become the person she was always meant to be. And in the end, that's all that really mattered. A few years later, Emily's nonprofit was thriving. She was making a real difference in the world, promoting ethical business practices and supporting young artists. She was happy, fulfilled, and deeply respected. I often visited her, attending her events, volunteering my time, and watching her shine. She had become the woman I had always hoped she would be, a woman of integrity, compassion, and courage. And me? I was content. I had found peace in knowing that my daughter was on the right path, that she was using her talents to make the world a better place. The money? It didn't matter anymore. I had learned that true wealth wasn't measured in dollars and cents, but in love, loyalty, and purpose. And as for revenge? Well, I realized that the best revenge isn't about inflicting pain on others. It's about healing yourself, reclaiming your life, and finding joy in the journey. And that, my friends, is a dish best served, warm with understanding and forgiveness. The cold dish, though initially satisfying, left a bitter taste. The warmth of reconciliation, however, is a feast for the soul. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What part shocked you the most? And if you love stories like this, check out this next video right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.